everybody, it is Julie. Welcome back to Pages and Pens. Today I am here with a video where I'm going to let you guys determine what I unhaul. Kind of, sort of. I'm gonna let you vote, at least. I want your opinions down below. So let's jump into all the books that I am unsure about whether or not I want to keep on my shelves. So essentially, I have a stack in front of me of 8 books, and I don't know if I want to keep them on my shelves anymore. They've been on my shelves for quite a while. I have feelings about them. I've heard some things about them, and I just don't know whether or not they're ones that I want to continue to keep here to potentially be read at some point. So I want you guys to let me know down below. I want you to either definitively say, I don't need to read it, or definitively say, you absolutely should give it a shot. I would love to know your opinions because I personally am unsure. I think at this point, these could potentially all go into an unhaul and or a TBR. I just don't know. Hopefully you guys are ready to interact because I need your help. Please help. I have 8 books here. I'm gonna just start pulling from the top of the pile and we'll go over some issues. The first one is Cruel Beauty by Rosamund Hodge. Rosamund Hodge. My mouth doesn't want to form her name. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, which I'm always here for and really super interested in, but she's also said some like kind of crappy things online, I believe in reference to women's reproductive rights and IVF and like artificial insemination and different fertility issues. I think she kind of put her foot in her mouth. I haven't delved too deeply. I did some like surface research when it came up a while ago. I don't know if this is worth me reading. And I could go on to Goodreads and look, but I feel like you guys know me better than just random Goodreads reviews. Never heard anybody really talking about the series. I know there's like a follow-up book that's like green with kind of like the same staircasey feel, but I think they're all companion novels that follow different retellings. I'm not really a retelling fan. The only one I'd probably be interested in is the Beauty and the Beast one. I just don't know. You tell me down below. Either you loved it or you hate it. Tell me something. Then I have Something Strange and Deadly by Susan Dennard. Now, Susan Dennard is a lovely person. I have nothing wrong with her. I follow her on my social media accounts. I enjoy watching her stories. I enjoy her writing advice. I enjoy the things that she says about writing process. Here's the thing. I don't like her Truth Witch series. I've tried maybe 6 or 7 times to read Truth Witch and I put it down every single time. And I ended up just deciding that it's going to go in an unhaul pile because I know it's not working with me. As much as I respect her as a person, I don't really vibe with her writing, and this is really early writing by her, and I just don't know if this is something that I need to do in my life. This one is apparently the dead start walking, and she ventures into a private lab of elusive spirit hunters to protect a city from supernatural forces. I think it's also a little bit historical. I don't really know how I'm going to feel about it. I'm a little bit conflicted. You tell me. I also have Rebel Belle by Rachel Hawkins, and here's the thing with this. I've heard that this series goes dramatically downhill and that people wish that it hadn't gone past the first book. I already know if I read this series, I'm only going to read the first book. I'm not going to continue on because I've heard it just gets so much worse as you go on. So is it really worth going into the first book at all? This one I believe is about Southern women who are either training for assassins or cotillions. Apparently she's falling for somebody that she's been told that she has to protect, her least favorite person, and then she starts falling for him. You tell me. If I already know that the series gets worse and I'm not going to continue past this book, is this one worth investing time in if I'm not going to read the rest of the series? I'd love your thoughts and opinions. I'm at a loss. Then I have The Merciless by Danielle Vega, which, here's the thing. I've heard decent things. I've heard really bad things about this. I also am not really a thriller horror person. So like if it's going to be a thriller or a horror, it needs to be exceptional. Otherwise, I don't really want a part in it. Like I already don't read that many of them. So if I'm going to read one, it should be really good. And I've heard such varying opinions on this particular book. I'm sure it would be an easy read and a quick read. I just don't know if it's worth reading. And it's continued to make it past 2 different Octobers without making it onto an official TBR or being read, which is normally when I read like my scarier, spookier things. So I'm just feeling really torn. I don't know if it's something that I need in my life. I would love to know your thoughts and opinions. should I be putting the Merciless on my shelf again, or should I just be unhauling this? Then I have two by Christina Lauren. These are older Christina Lauren books, and I've heard that some of her older books are really, really smexy. These are not from the smexy series, I don't think. I think these are from like the thriller section of their combined writing duo repertoire. Nobody talks about these. So this is Sublime, which is a beautiful haunting read, says Tara Mafi. This one is Love is Beautiful, Dangerous, and Scary. Lucy walks out of a frozen forest wearing only a silk dress and sandals. She's not sure why she's there until she sees Colin, who has captivated half the girls at this school, but no one's ever snared his fascination the way that Lucy has. And then each day their lives intertwine more deeply. She begins to remember details of her life and her death. Neither of them is willing to give up what they have, no matter how impossible it seems. And the adrenaline junkie Colin begins taking himself to the brink of death, where their realities overlap, to discover what he can physically, if he can physically be with Lucy. Apparently she's a ghost, and he's inciting these near-death experiences to try to touch her. I don't know. Again, it's not one of the Christina Laurens that anybody talks about, and I don't know if it's worth keeping. Cami Garcia said it's a romantic, unforgettable story of first love. My first love was not with a ghost that I had to kill myself to touch, but you know, that's just me. And then the house over here is masterfully told and wholly original, says Ransom Riggs. Alexander Bracken said, welcome to your next obsession. He's always dressed in black, his head down, shaggy black hair falling into his eyes, but when Gavin looks up at Delilah, his dark eyes shadowed with bluish circles seem to flicker to life. Her lifelong fascination with him has been a mixture of longing and bear-like protectiveness, because he lives in that house, the one on the edge of the town. Spooky and maybe haunted. She thinks that maybe something worse. It might be something worse than haunted. Gavin tells Delilah he's hers completely, but whatever lives with him inside that house disagrees. No, but these seem like they are YA, contemporary, thriller, paranormal, romance. I don't know. No one talks about these. So if you know anything about these, if you have an opinion one way or the other, I would love to hear your thoughts. Then I have The Duff, Designated Ugly Fat Friend by Cody Keplinger. I bought because, like, people were talking about it, and it was a movie, and it was a cover that, like, everybody knew, and you saw it all the time, and the spine was really cool. But I kind of have zero interest in reading it. You tell me if I need to keep this or not, because I just am unsure. I'm leaning towards the no, but if you tell me it's phenomenal, I shall read it. Ooh, there's one more. I'm gonna go get it. I'll be right back. I lied. I went over to my shelf to pick up the one book that I thought I wanted to add to this pile, and I found 4. I also have Nerve by Jean Ryan. I have seen the movie. I've heard people say that the movie is better than the book, so do I really need to read this? I'm also leaning towards no. Like, I haven't seen this movie, but I also don't feel compelled to read the book, particularly unless you tell me I really should. This one, I've seen the movie. It was fine, but I also feel like I probably know what happens now. What do? Do I keep it and read it? I'm leaning towards no. This one I'm also leaning towards no, you tell me. Then I have one that I think I will probably get to, and that's The Wife Between Us by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen, and this one is an arc that somebody sent me that they just did not want anymore, and I just have not gotten to it. But I've heard decent things. Again, it's a thriller. I don't get into thrillers very often, so if I do, it's got to be pretty great. So you let me know if you think this is a thriller I will enjoy. If you don't think it's a thriller I will enjoy, then I will not. At this point, I'm kind of up in the air. Then I have a book that I just don't know anything about. I have Beware the Wild by Natalie C. Parker, who is also the author of, is it Seafire? She's married to Tessa Gratton. I'm interested in it because I am interested in her as a person. The premise sounds intriguing, but I tried to read Seafire. I got like a sample chapter from NetGalley, like the first couple of chapters, and I really wasn't into it. I don't know if I'm going to enjoy the writing style, so you guys tell me. This one is about something in the swamp in Styx, Louisiana, something different, something haunting, something alive. Everyone knows this. Everyone avoids going near it until one morning when Sterling's older brother, Phineas, runs into the swamp and doesn't return. Instead, a girl named Lenora May climbs out in his place, and now no one in Styx remembers Finn at all. It's intriguing. I'm not against it. I just don't know if you guys have ever read this. Any thoughts? Any opinions? Has anybody read this? I don't think I've heard or seen anybody who's actually read this. I'm still intrigued by it. I'm willing to pick it up. I just don't know necessarily. This book I got at the dollar store, and I've heard very mixed things. I've heard people hate it. I've heard people go like, man, it's a decent fantasy. This is Mystic by Jason Denzel. This is One Master, One Apprentice, One Chance. I don't know. Again, I spent $1 on it. If you read this and it was horrible, I want to say Ola Quinn read this maybe and really didn't like it. Let me know, Ola, did you? If you have any like strong thoughts on this, definitely let me know. I'm happy to donate this somewhere else. I just don't know anything about it. You tell me, what do you think about this one? I'm curious. And then the last one is 13 Blue Envelopes, or 13 Little Blue Envelopes by Maureen Johnson, which I was going to read. Like, I had all intentions of reading, and then I saw somebody, and now I forget who it was because I consumed too much BookTube and they start to blend together. But they read this and they said that they were actually really upset by it. It was in a Contemporary-thon wrap-up, and I forget who it was. I'm sorry. If it was you, comment down below. But they read this and there was the use of the R word in this in terms of like mental capacity. You can figure it out. I hate that word. That will make me DNF a book faster than anything. And also the F word, which I'm assuming does not mean fuck. I'm assuming it means a word in reference to somebody's queerness, which I'm also not okay with. 2005 release, like even in 2005, like just don't use those words. It's older, but like, listen, regardless of like how long ago it was, they're words that don't sit well with me, so I don't know if I want to read this. Sorry guys, my camera overheated a smidge, and I was just finishing up with the last book, which is this 13 Little Blue Envelopes. It's about a girl who I believe her aunt dies, and she's left with these little envelopes and like money to go on this adventure and follow these prompts. But again, if language is not great and like the actual plot is not super compelling, like if it's a 3-star read and it has those kinds of words in it, I don't want anything to do with it. If it's a 5-star read and those words are in it and it's 13, 14 years old, I might be able to like look past it and still give it like a review, but I just don't know. So you tell me what you think of this one in particular. I'm telling you right now, I'm leaning towards definitely keeping The Wife Between Us and Beware the Wild to give a shot, just because I'm interested in this author and this one has sounded really good to me in the past. Definitely comment down below and let me know your thoughts on all these books. Again, they're all kind of up in the air. Like, you guys could really make or break whether or not they end up on a TBR or they end up in an unhaul pile. Just know that I appreciate so much your input. I guess we'll see at the end of this whether or not they end up on a TBR, if they end up in a dedicated video, or if they end up in an unhaul coming up soon. It's make or break time, guys. So help me cull my shelves and hone a TBR. I appreciate it so, so much. That's it for this video. If you liked it, be sure to give me a big thumbs up, click subscribe, and I will see all of you in my next video. Bye, guys. Is 6 of Crows just like blinding you up there? I really can't tell. I feel like she probably is.